feeling good, man. I'm excited. It's been a pretty long layoff. I haven't, I try not to take a long layoff like this. Like last year I fought 4, maybe 5 times. This year I've only fought once, so I mean, I'm just itching to get back in there. It's been a while, and I'm ready to make a statement. I'm ready to get going again.
That's what it is. There's no power in it. Stay as long as you can where these punches are still coming out good. Hey, had a kick at the end.
Fought back in April. Obviously I lost that fight. I wanted to fight in June, didn't work out. I wanted to fight in August, didn't work out. The Muay Thai fight kind of just came up. It was just kind of an opportunity to just stay active. Like I said, I really wanted to fight, but nothing really worked out for me. So, I wanted to stay active. They offered me this fight, a Muay Thai fight. It was my first time doing it. And I was just like, you know what? I'm a fighter, I want to do it, so I'm going to do it. So, I came up short in that fight, but, I went the distance. It was my first time, so, I was pretty proud of myself just to do it. It was kind of a bucket list thing, if anything. But yeah, besides that, man, I've been staying busy. I'm always training. I'm always, even if I'm not fighting, I'm helping my friends get ready. Like I have a team around me. I have a lot of people, and then on top of that, I'm a commentator for Cage Titans. Not only Cage Titans, now I'm doing Lion Fight, so I got a couple more gigs there. So, that just keeps me, that keeps me active, and that keeps me, it keeps me a student of the game, because watching fights and commenting on them, it helps you look more in depth to fighting as a whole. Not just yourself in your own fight, but you look at other people's fights and you can kind of pick out, I would do this, or he should be doing this. And, it's just, it's helpful, and I love it. So that was a fun opportunity to kind of put myself in that kind of almost not unfamiliar territory, but in MMA, I mean, I started out wrestling. I didn't start out striking. So in MMA, I can strike, but there's always kind of that safety net of like, if things aren't going my way, like I can try and take a guy down and, try something else on the ground. Being in Muay Thai, I don't have that option. Like, yeah, there's the clinch work, but it's a lot different. I can't bring a guy to the ground. So that kind of forced me to, be like, okay, let's really see what I'm made of in the stand-up game. You know what I mean? And it was really fun to test myself in that sense. And just really see what I'm made of. As far as commentating, yeah, like I said, it helps me look more in depth into just fighting as a whole, where it's not just about me. It's about, I'm looking at various styles, various camps, different coaching styles, and I'm analyzing what they're doing. And by doing that, I'm kind of picking and choosing, like, I'm gonna put that in my back pocket. Maybe I'll steal this, I'll steal that. So that, that obviously helps me a lot, because, I mean, fighting's my life. So that's just what I do, Yeah, so, my first professional loss, and, it's not my first loss. As an amateur, I lost 4 fights as an amateur. So I know what it's like, but it's just, back in April, losing that fight to a kid that I should have beaten on paper, you know, I should have beat that kid 9 times out of 10, but you know, there's always that one. And it was a tough pill to swallow, man, because it was like, I went into the fight like I was the top dog. Like I was the undefeated prospect. I was the guy that people were there to see. People wanted me to win. And, you know, people were, it was getting to the point where it was like, okay, I'm 6-0. If I get to 7-0, you know, maybe we start, you know, making calls, trying to, you know, go on to bigger and better things. Man, it was rough because I had all that in the back of my mind. Like I had all this hype behind me, and you know, you start to believe it, and then in that 1 second, like it just all come crashing down on you, and it's just, and it's like I can't say it's a lucky shot. Like, you know, he caught me in the body, he dropped me to the body. Like that can happen to anybody, you know. So it's like I said, it was tough to swallow, but you know, it is what it is. And yeah, it just, everything kind of came crashing down on me. And then, you know, you start to get in your own head like, okay, maybe I'm not the top dog. Maybe, you know, I'm not the best guy. Maybe I don't belong in the UFC. Maybe I'm not ready for that. And, you know, it just, I mean, I'm sure in the future it'd be a blessing in disguise, but it was tough to deal with at first. But, you know, I'm coming to terms with it, and I'm ready to put it behind me, and, you know, I'm ready to fight. I just can't wait to fight again. I just want to erase that. I want to erase that feeling. Yeah. You know, I want to remind people that I am the top guy in this division in New England. So, yeah, I'm excited.
So what's it like fighting for CES your entire pro career?
It's been great. You know, I signed with CES right off the bat. I did my pro debut with them, and, you know, I must have made a good impression because, you know, ever since my pro debut, they've kind of always been on me like, oh, like we want to keep you active, we want to keep you going. So they've been really good to me. They've been really dedicated to me. They want, you know, they treat me well, and they treat me as, you know, their fighter. So yeah, being in CES, you know, we're the top promotion in the East Coast. You know, we have the TV deal, which is huge. So nobody else has a TV deal around here. So, you know, being able to showcase my talents on national television is, you know, it's such a great, you know, opportunity to expose myself. So yeah, I mean, I can say nothing but good things about CES. They've been really good to me. And yeah, we'll keep going until we get to the UFC, you know. So it's been great.
Is that your goal? Are you kind of nailed on the UFC? Is that where you're looking only at right now?
Yeah, UFC's the end goal. You know, if you're doing the sport, I feel like, you know, that's, I mean, not only is it the biggest stage and this and that, but I mean, we're not making much money out here. It's tough, man. And like, it's crazy to look at the jump between lower level promotions and then you go to the UFC and you see how much those guys are actually making. Like, yeah, like it's not crazy money, but it's enough for me to quit my job. You know, I work full time. I do this in my spare time. I work full time. I come here, I train, and then I fight. I want to get up in the morning, train, go home, come back, train, and do this day in and day out. This is what I want to do. This is my life. I don't want to help somebody else reach their goals and their dreams. I want to get to my goals and my dreams. My goals is to be in the UFC and to be the best in the world. And the only way I can do that is, you know, obviously life happens and financially I need to be stable. I can't do it at these lower level promotions. It's not going to happen. I have to, you know, work my day job to fund this. But yeah, I mean, it's just one step at a time, and we'll see what happens, and hopefully we'll get there someday, you know, so it'll be good.
Like, what's it like to have someone to fight with on a card as opposed to not?
It's honestly, it's interesting because, like, I've been on cards where I'm the only guy fighting.
Yeah. And,
you know, if you're the only guy from your camp, you can only have 3 people with you. But I've also been in situations where we have like 6 guys on the card and we just have the whole team back there, you know? As far as like, you know, me and Chris are both on this card. Yeah. You know, Chris is my brother. I literally grew up with him. Okay. Me and him have been me and him have been like drill partners since 8th grade. Like we went through wrestling together, and you know, we're still doing it in fighting. So like when I have him there in the back with me and we're just warming up together, it's so natural, and it's so comfortable, because it's like, you know, we've been there a million times. You know, from back when we were kids, like warming up on the mats and doing our matches, to now we're, you know, in the back getting ready to fight on TV. So, you know, it's cool to see like how far we've come together. And yeah, like it's weird being the only guy on the card, because I've had most of my fights, I've been like, there's somebody else that's also fighting, that I'm friends with, that I'm teammates with. Yeah. So, you know, this one, definitely having Chris there with me, it's definitely like, it's an advantage. Like I prefer to have him there, you know. You know, on top of my coaches, of course. But you know, just having, you know, my best friend and, you know, best training partner there with me it's huge.
Yeah. Is that a thought like that ever goes through your mind? You're like, holy shit, we were in. When did you first like start wrestling together? Was it 8th grade?
Yeah, it was around 8. I mean, we started like playing WWE in the backyard when we were little kids.
Okay.
But
So like, what it was like going from that to, I mean, has the thought ever gone through your mind like, holy shit, like we were literally in the backyard, like you said, playing WWE, now we're fucking wrestling people and elbowing in the fucking face.
Right.
Has that thought ever gone through your mind at all? Like maybe backstage or just at any time?
Yeah, it does go through my mind. It hit me hard this one time, because there was this one card, it was a CES card where me and Chris both fought the same night. And a friend of mine recorded us like drilling and warming up together. And I was watching the video, and I got choked up, because it was like, that's, you know what I mean? We've been doing this since we were little kids, and here we are, you know, we're professionals and we're doing it for real. Yeah. Like, so it was just, it's like overwhelming, because it's like I've grown up with Chris, and like to be able to like see how far I've come from that little skinny little kid who was a big WWE fan to now I'm, you know, fighting on TV in front of thousands of people. So it's crazy. Yeah. It's, you know, I'm living my dream. It's crazy. Yeah, I like this matchup. I've known Billy for a long time. Like you said, he's a veteran in the sport, and he's been around in the New England scene forever, man. Like I remember being in high school and like seeing like him on Facebook, and like seeing him like winning titles and stuff, and being like, wow, like that's so cool. Like, you know, like way before I even started fighting. And, you know, back in probably four or so years ago, when I was still an amateur, you know, he fought one of my teammates at the time. He fought him twice, actually. So like I've had experience, you know, I've had experience watching Billy, and, you know, even training for him, because I've had teammates fight him. So I don't know, I kind of always felt like, you know, maybe one day we were going to cross paths, we were going to be in that cage together. It's always kind of been in the back of my mind. I have nothing bad to say about Billy. Billy's a great dude. I've met him personally. I've actually, you know, I've been to Connor's MMA. Really nice guy. But yeah, I mean, as far as how the matchup goes, I love the matchup. I think it favors me. You know, he's a tough guy. Like I said, he's a experienced guy. He's got great jits. I think he's a brown belt. He's got a great triangle off his back, decent wrestling. But I just think I'm too hungry, and, you know, I'm the young hungry lion in this situation. And he's kind of, I don't want to say he's like a stepping stone or this and that. I'm not looking past him, but like we're at two very different points in our career, and he's not going to stop me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can say that about anybody, and anybody can beat anybody, but I really think that this is going to be a really good fight for me to fight a guy who is respectable, who has a great record, and for me to kind of showcase what I'm really made of, and, you know, erase that loss and just continue forward, because that's, you know, I just want to get through it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's it like to fight a guy who, like you said, in this region, he is certainly a staple. If you watched New England MMA, you know who he is. What's the feeling like fighting a guy that you were watching 4 years ago before you even stepped into a gym?
It's cool because it's like it shows me like how far I've really come in this sport. Because like you said, I mean, I was in high school when Billy was starting out and, you know, winning all these fights. And I remember kind of, you know, I was looking up to him like, oh, like that's a local guy. He's out there fighting, you know, he's doing it. I can do it. And, you know, he was a pro when I was an amateur. He was one of the top guys. And yeah, like I said, it just shows like how far I've come in this sport, you know, from being that kid in high school who's never thrown a punch to now I'm, you know, one of the top guys in New England at this weight class. So, I mean, it's just, yeah, I can't wait to get in there with him. And yeah, it shows me just like how good I've gotten over the years, you know?
So, do you have any final thoughts or people you want to thank or like shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, sure. You know, first off, just shout outs to my my main gym, BSD MMA, my coaches, Rolando, Julio, Todd, Mark Cap. Yeah, shout out to all my teammates that are fighting soon between Cage Titans, CES, and NEF. We got tons of guys fighting. So good luck to them. And yeah, shout out to Triforce MMA and Lausanne MMA. Those are kind of my, you know, secondary schools that I go to. And also, lastly, shout out to my sponsors, Jeff Gates, and my other sponsor, Jeff Friedrich, who, you know, helps me out a lot financially. And, you know, like I said, I can't do this full time, so I need help financially. So the sponsors are huge. So, you know, thank you to my sponsors.